All right, we want to check in on meteorologist Cecily Tynan. We are covering a tornado watch or warnings in place, Cecily.
Tornado warning. So when we were showing the radar earlier, we were concerned, I think I need a camera here, that we were watching some of the cells kind of converging and creating some spin. So the National Weather Service now, we have two tornadoes. So the first tornado warnings, the first one, northwestern Montgomery County and west central Bucks County. As of 5:19, a severe thunderstorm capable of producing a tornado was located near Spring Mount, 20 miles east of Reading, moving east at 30 miles per hour. So that is that one there. And let me find the latest. So the other one is still, we're getting the other one in our graphic right now before we actually get the data from the National Weather Service. But if you live in this area, so this is a very populated area. So this goes from Montgomery County, much of Montgomery County actually, from Radnor, Abington, Lower Gwinnett. This tornado warning is in effect till 5:45. So we have two tornado warnings now. So here right now we have it. So if you live in those areas, you want to get in your safe place right now. So the second one is for southwestern Montgomery County, east central Chester County, northwestern Philadelphia County, and northern Delaware County. So this is a pretty expansive, well-populated area until 5:45. So at 5:20, so 2 minutes ago, a severe thunderstorm capable of producing a tornado was located over King of Prussia, 14 miles northwest of Westchester, and this is also moving very quickly. This is moving east at 40 miles an hour. So flying debris could be associated with any of these possible tornadoes. Again, they are radar indicated. We don't have an eyewitness report, but honestly, there's so much rain with these storms, you're not going to be able to see anything. So if you live within those two areas, you want to get into your basement right now. If you don't have a basement, get into your lowest level of your floor, an interior closet, a bathroom. You want to put as many layers between you and the outdoors as possible. Flying debris is the most dangerous part of tornado. Don't go outside. Don't go to your windows to get any pictures. Get into your safe place right now. So what I want to do, I want to show you these two, and Paul, maybe we can track them as well. So first of all, we've had 117 lightning strikes over the past 15 minutes in this particular area. So this, we noticed about 15 minutes ago, we noticed a little bit of rotation near Pottstown. So this is now east of Pottstown through Hatfield, just west of Hilltown. Again, it's moving east at about 35 miles per hour. So lower Pottsgrove, Limerick, lower Frederick, upper Salford, lower Salford, and Hatfield all in the path of this storm. So get in your safe place right now. There's a lot of thunder. There's a lot of lightning. We've already had reports of some wind gusts near 70 miles an hour. So even if you don't get the tornado, this is coming with a lot of straight line winds. You remember the storm we had 3 weeks ago that caused all that wind damage. Unfortunately, this is what we're looking at. So this is the area right now under the tornado warning. It's just north and east of Pottstown, crossing 29, actually heading towards the Blue Route. If you know anyone who's taking the Blue Route home in this direction, in this area, maybe give them a call, tell them to pull over, get into a sturdy building. You really do not want to be in your car during a possible tornado. So this shows relative velocity. So this is the wind direction. So where we have the green, that's the wind heading towards the radar site. Where we have the purple and the red tones, that's the wind that's heading away. And we can probably kind of put this into motion. And a lot of times when we put it into motion, you can see a little bit of that rotation. So you see near Pottstown and Limerick, we've got that green and the red very close. And there we go. So this is what the past 15 minutes or so. And we can see that there is a bit of rotation in the atmosphere. So typically with the tornado warnings that are radar indicated, you can see with the radar with something like this, the relative velocity, that there is some spin in the atmosphere. You get the spin in the atmosphere, a funnel cloud forms. If the funnel cloud hits the ground, that is officially a tornado. And a lot of times in our area, we get the fast moving tornadoes that they hit briefly and then they pick up. Looks like the best, the greatest gate-to-gate shear right now is near Conshohocken, near Norristown. If you live in this area, just north of Radnor, this is a pretty strong signature on the relative velocity that we're seeing some rotation. So if you live in this area, again, seek shelter immediately. Get into your basement, get into the lowest level of your home. Stay away from any windows because that does look like a very strong signature on relative velocity that there is some rotation in the atmosphere. Again, we've already already had a lot of reports of wind damage with winds gusting near 70 miles an hour, and this could add to some of that damage. So Plymouth, White Marsh, Glenside, Abington, Hatfield, and Lower Moreland, all in the path of the storm. Now, the tornado warning is in effect until 5:45. But even after that, we're going to be dealing with these storms moving to the east very quickly. We had the heat index above 100. We have a cold front pushing in. So there's a lot of atmospheric dynamics to create these really intense thunderstorms right now. So we've had 3 lightning strikes over the past 15 minutes. Norristown looks like we got a little bit of that hook. So with the radar, when you get that hook, it's an indication that there's some winds kind of wrapping around a storm, and that is one of the radar signatures that there could be a possible tornado. So again, we've got the tornado warning in effect for parts of Philadelphia, Bucks, Chester, Montgomery, and Delaware counties until 5:45. So there is a pretty strong signature that there could in fact be a tornado, as we're looking at actually 2 possible tornadoes. So why don't we go ahead and reset, Paul, and go to the 2 tornado warnings. So we did have the severe thunderstorm warnings ahead of the squall line. So now we have a tornado warning until 5:45 for much of Montgomery County, Limerick, Green Lane, Lower Salford, just to the west of Hilltown for the potential for a tornado. And then we also have this tornado warning that's even more expansive that extends from Schuylkill through Norristown, Lower Gwinnett, Abington, and just to the west of Cheltenham. And the storms are moving east pretty quickly at about 40 miles an hour. But the tornado warning itself is pretty expansive because typically when we have a tornado, it doesn't really follow the atmospheric dynamics. It creates its own atmosphere. So it can change direction, it can lift up, it can move faster, it can slow down. And so that's why we have some pretty big polygons, even though if we actually track the storm, it may not show this area that's quite as expansive. So Storm Tracker 6 live double scan showing what we're watching. So a lot of times when we have a possible tornado, they are discrete cells, they are individual cells, but also, and we found this a lot this summer, that we also can see some notches in a squall line, and that's an indication that there's some rotation. So we've got this one right now, this little notch. It looks like it's filling in a bit, but it's moving east pretty quickly. I can see it right there. That's near Hilltown, and we have another one near Norristown, kind of crossing the Blue Route, heading towards Glenside. So we have 2 cells that could possibly cause a tornado, and that's why we have that tornado warning. Now, in addition to the potential for damaging winds, we also have the potential for flash flooding. Rainfall rates are really incredible with this particular squall line. So we have rainfall rates close to 3 inches per hour. If you stepped outside at all today, you notice the humidity is just so high. So these storms are kind of wringing out all the moisture from the atmosphere. So we have kind of a triple threat. We have dangerous lightning, we have damaging wind gusts, possible tornado, and we also have some flash flooding. And unfortunately, this is coming during the height of the evening commute. So this is going to be very tough. And actually, we have a 4th threat. We also have hail. So the hail tracks show that it looks like there was some very large hail just to the west of Pottstown, and that's an indication of the strength of the storm. If the storm is higher in the atmosphere, it can pull that hail, that piece of ice, higher and higher, and it just kind of bumps around there and it gets larger. So when we see a hail track like this that shows hail close to, actually this one, more than 1 inch in diameter. So that's pretty, we don't see that in our area very often. So that's an indication that these storms really have a lot of atmospheric energy. So we're looking at flash flooding, we're looking at wind damage, we're looking at the potential for damaging hail at all. You want to come in and...
There's an update here for the, here I'm going to come on this side of you, for the northern cell that has that tornado warning. At 5:28, there was an update there, continuing until 5:45. It is about 21 miles south of Allentown, moving east at 30 miles an hour. So they are continuing this, and some of the towns that could be impacted and what you want to watch for here would be Lansdale, Souderton, Hatfield, Schwanksville, Green Lane, that's northern Montgomery County, Spring Mountain, that's where Spring Mountain is, if you know that particular area. Skip back Telford, Sellersville, Harleysville, Culpsville, and Montgomeryville. So they're continuing it, and you can see a little bit of that broad gate-to-gate shear there
right
near Green Lane.
Green Lane.
And it continues to move east at 30 miles an hour. So it's getting close to Green Lane, northern Montgomery County, near the northeast extension, just south or right around the Quakertown exit. So we'll watch that as it bumps into northern parts of Bucks County as well.
So again, we were saying that if you know anybody who is traveling and possibly taking that route, maybe give them a call, give them a heads up in case they're not getting the alert on their phone to go another direction. You really do not want to be, you don't want to be in the blue route, on the blue route, when you have this possible tornado heading your way. You do not want to be in a car.
And they just updated the southern tornado warning. It has been canceled only for Delaware County and Chester County. So it still continues because that's part of northern Philadelphia County, lower Montgomery County. So if you're in Delaware County or Chester County with that southern tornado warning, that has been discontinued, but it does continue until 5:45 for Montgomery County as well as Philadelphia County. And I can look here at the updated verbiage of that. The tornado thunderstorm which prompted the warning has moved out of the warning area for those in Chester and northern Delaware County, but it continues for southeastern Montgomery, northwestern Philadelphia County, moving to the east at 40 miles an hour. This is radar indicated. Weather spotters did report a funnel cloud. So that is new here. Doesn't say exactly where that funnel cloud was reported, but it was reported by weather spotters in some of the towns to watch for, as you were talking, Cecily, Norristown, Conshohocken. That's where it was a few moments ago.
Yeah, I can see that.
Ambler, Abington, Brenathan, Willow Grove, Plymouth Meeting, Chestnut Hill, King of Prussia, which is west of it, and Horsham as well as Bridgeport. So this continues over a very populated area.
Fort Washington, Bluebell as well. So if you live in this area, again, this red polygon, which from Norristown through Abington, Cheltenham, just to the south and west of Warminster, you want to seek shelter right away. So a tornado warning, again, with the update, not just radar indicated, but as Adam said, someone did actually spot a funnel cloud. And we have been seeing with the relative velocity that we have the winds heading in different directions, and that often is an indication that there could in fact be a tornado.
So it's going to be east of here, because there's Chester County here. Here's central parts of Montgomery County, so it's going to be somewhere on the front end of that. Also, they did
flash flood warning now too.
Yeah, I mean, the rainfall rates are like 2 to 3 inches an hour. Douglasville, Berks County, there's a tree down on the residence in there. And as you noted, you mentioned that there was winds up near 68 miles an hour in Pottstown. Honeybrook, there's trees, wires, and poles down in Honeybrook. That's where this kind of started, the genesis of it, and it just plowed through that part of Chester County.
And I do want to bring it to everyone's attention that if you were under the tornado warning and it's been canceled, there are still severe thunderstorms in your area. So even if the tornado warning is canceled, we're also looking at straight line winds, perhaps some microbursts. We're seeing all the lightning. We've had 261 lightning strikes over the past 15 minutes. And again, if you can hear that rumble of thunder, you need to be indoors. Lightning can strike about 10 miles ahead of a storm. So if you can hear that rumble of thunder, it means the storm is close enough that you could be struck by lightning. Now, did the tornado warning just...
Nope.
I saw it disappear, or we just got rid of it?
No, I think you just got rid of it. But one of the issues that we're having here is we have some storms that are moving from west to east at 40, 50 miles an hour. Then you get these little discrete cells. Notice how they're popping ahead of the main line. These are moving southwest to northeast. So when you get the convergence of these storms moving from the west, these storms coming in from the south and west, when they're coming together, that's when you're getting these outflow boundaries and these differing winds in these storms kind of converging with one another. So that's why we're starting to see a little bit of twisting in spots. So more than likely, you know, there very well could be these quick little spin ups as these storms converge.
And we can see it here right now. It looks like the best rotation is now east of Norristown. But if you live in Norristown right now, not only are you hearing the thunder, you are probably hearing that rush of wind. Because which
is the green.
Yeah, those winds are, again, up to close to 70 miles per hour. So unfortunately, I know 3 weeks ago we were dealing with all the power outages.
Just before I came on, I looked, there's 15,000 customers. Before I just stepped out to chat with you, all, it's 15,000 Pico customers without power. That was a 5 or 10 minutes ago, but we're also seeing this little, look at this little guy
right there, near Ben Salem,
notch, which is in lower parts of Bucks County, near the Pennsylvania Turnpike.
Just south of Warminster.
Yeah, so we're going to watch that guy. In addition, not only are you dealing with, again, these little pop-ups with these rotation, but then behind it, you get the rush of straight line winds, coming with it as well. So I'd watch that for southern Bucks County, for Mercer County, lower Bucks County, also into Burlington County, watching some of these very strong winds heading your way.
And it's getting very close to the Delaware River as well.
Yeah, even Center City. Paul, why don't you go down south just a little bit so you can see south of there.
So we can see Philadelphia.
Yeah, there you go. So you get that rush.
This is where it looks like we have some rotation. We don't have a tornado warning officially for that area, but we're going to be watching that. And then you can see just actually close to Philadelphia now, we are getting the rush of the straight line winds. So those winds could be up to about 70 miles per hour.
And if the director, at some point, if you want to pull up any of the Sky Sixes in the city, we could see what it looks like is more than likely. It's probably pitch black at this point as the rain is about to approach parts of Center City, and you're getting that rush of wind about to move into Center City, Philadelphia. And notice this little guy here just popping up south of Concord out of nowhere, and that's going to converge with these storms to the north here. So we're seeing a bunch of convergence going on in the atmosphere right now.
And ahead of that line of storms, we're seeing all those severe thunderstorm warnings popping up. But again, we have taken over. Yeah, you can see it's getting dark and stormy. And you can see the rain shafts there. You can see that rain kind of on the horizon. So
this is where the storms are coming from on the left part of your screen here. So continue to, and again, please, in the control room, if you see something on cameras, just pull them up and we can talk right over them. We can do it on the fly for you guys.
So again, we have that tornado warning until 5:45 for southeastern Montgomery, northwest Philadelphia counties. At last report, a possible tornado was located near Plymouth Meeting, but this was a few minutes ago, moving east at 40 miles an hour. So this entire area is under that tornado warning. So if you're just joining us, if you live within that red polygon from Upper Dublin, near Cheltenham, Carpenter, through Conshohocken. Now Norristown, the rotation has left, but you're still dealing with straight line winds. So I would get into your basement right away, get into your safe place. If you don't have a basement, lowest level of your building or your home, in a closet or an interior bathroom, something away from the windows.
Yeah, and if you don't have a TV down there, number one, you can get us on our app, 6ABC app. You can watch us live on there. In addition to that, what I tell people sometimes is turn up your TV really loud upstairs if you're downstairs, so you can at least hear what we're having to say when you're in your safe space, somewhere away from a television.
Or just wait until you don't hear any
well, that too,
any wind or any thunder. But we'd like you to trust us with this.
Yes.
So until 5:45, so we've kind of zoomed in, and this
is the northern one.
The northern.
Say that again, Paul. Yeah, this is the northern one.
So Tawaminson, Hatfield, Harleysville, Burlington, Green Lane until 5:45.
All right, and that big yellow thing you see flashing, that's a new severe thunderstorm warning.
Yeah, they're just popping up all over the place.
Which has not come through the chat room just yet, but that is another severe thunderstorm warning that has been issued around that area that continues. Here it is. All right, tornado expiring. The tornado warning for north central Montgomery and west central Bucks County. This one here will expire at 5:45, but they've now prompted a new severe thunderstorm warning for the same area with winds possible up to 70 miles an hour. And something else to note, a lot of folks, when they see damage come through, they're like, I know a tornado came through, I know a tornado came through. Straight line winds can be just as destructive and damaging and scary as a tornado. They're one and the same when you're talking about a weak tornado and straight line winds.
And they're saying right now that the tornado threat is lowering, but the wind damage threat remains very high, and the flash flooding and the hail threat as well. We have seen some of these storms producing some abundant areas of hail. So New Britain, Abington, Buckingham, Bensalem, Bristol, and Levittown, all in the path of this storm. Right now, it's moving east at about 40 miles an hour. And we've had 84 lightning strikes over the past 15 minutes. So this is all ahead of a cold front that is bumping into the just disgusting air mass that we had today with the heat and humidity. So there's so much fuel for these storms.
There is. And again, you look at it. Cold air is dense, it's heavy. Warm air is buoyant, it rises. So we had so much heat and humidity today that air is just rising 30, 40, 50,000 feet in the atmosphere, bringing down these very strong winds. And Paul, let's go closer, to Philadelphia, because when Cecily was chatting, I was noting near the Conshohocken curve, this is a big area. You got 202, you got the Pennsylvania Turnpike, you got the Schuylkill Expressway, you got the Blue Route, the Northeast Extension, and the lightning was tremendous when I just saw the radar in this zone here where you're getting that rush of wind. So I would not be surprised people along the Schuylkill are parked to the side right now just due to the intensity of the rain and those strong winds, because we've seen many trees come down on the Schuylkill when you're driving from the Gladwin exit to the Blue Route, there's a lot of trees and a lot of, very steep hills here, and the water rushes down and tends to flood the Schuylkill at times.
And it's hard to drive in rainfall rates like this. I mean, we're looking at rainfall rates at close to 2 inches an hour. One thing I should mention, if you do want to pull over because of the rain, because of the winds, it's actually better if you don't pull over under an overpass, because that actually can funnel the winds even more, even though you kind of want to, because it protects you from the rain.
All right, so it's 5:40 right now, correct?
So
they're saying they're going to expire. They're going to they are going to let both of the tornado warnings expire at 5:45 in 4 minutes from now, which means that the tornado risk has considerably dropped.
But they have been saying, and we're seeing as well, that the severe thunderstorm risk remains in effect very high. And we're looking at the potential for straight line winds. We're looking at the potential for flash flooding and large hail. And you can see that Sky 6.
That's from our yard. The yard from right outside of our studios.
Oh, that's right outside of our studio.
Right outside our studios, the yard looking westbound, and you can see just the intensity of the darkness to that cloud cover there.
Looks like night. It
looks like night. And again, if you could see some of those trees definitely are whipping around a bit there as well outside of our studios here on our yard, which is looking westbound right now towards Montgomery County is where that camera is looking. And then here you have some of the storm reports where you got that 68-mile-an-hour wind gust that was measured in Pottstown as these storms were coming through at 5 o'clock at the top of the hour.
We're also seeing a lot of flash flooding. So we have reports in Birdsboro that water is rushing over the roadway on Jackson Street. So this is a big problem. So with storms like this, in the beginning, like the leading edge is where you get the wind damage. So Honeybrook, we have trees, wires, poles down at a 445. So you get the high winds, you get the tornado threat at the leading edge, and then behind that, that's where you get the flash flood threat. So we do have a lot of reports of flash flooding. There were flash flooding North Heidelberg. So a lot of roads are starting to flood over, and this is a reminder, again, if you're driving, if you're going anywhere, please do not drive through any flooded roads. If you live in a flood-prone area, if you live on a road that has river or creek in its name, just watch the waterways, because there's a potential that you may have to leave and seek higher ground.
And this is hail track that we're showing, so you can see southeastern parts of Berks County, northern Chester County. And notice, again, here it shows those storms moving in different directions, so that's why that tornado warning started here as these two storms congealed and kind of pushed their winds together, and that's what probably brought that spin up or that possible tornado that was radar indicated. And that's when we were back in the weather center and we were looking at it and we're looking at the relative velocity and we're like, uh-oh, like it looks like there is some spin. Yeah, so, and before this expires, Paul, can we go to the radar one more time? There was a nasty storm in Delaware County. This one I was watching really blowing up, and that is heading towards South Philadelphia, right over Chester, the Commodore Barry Bridge as well, and the southern part near Lima, Media, in that vicinity. So we'll be watching that one. And notice there is no severe thunderstorm warning with this, but you can see all the lightning associated with it. So Ridley, Upper Darby, Philadelphia, Camden, Cherry Hill, and Moorestown all in the path of this cell. So we've seen a lot of thunder and lightning. We've seen flooding, and we've seen wind damage with this particular system as it continues to push to the east. And this is moving right towards the airport. And I believe Shari or Rick, one of you two said there's a ground stop, till 6 o'clock, correct? Yes, at the airport, for departing flights and those who were trying to also head to Philadelphia. Some might be circling that were en route. Sure they are. And this storm just fired up here. And look at this. Look at this area of storms in Maryland. So that's going to be hitting Delaware. I mean, that is a tremendous amount. I mean, over 1,200 lightning strikes just in this vantage point here. So now we're seeing in southeast Pennsylvania, it's really kind of transitioning from a severe weather threat to the flash flooding threat. It's crossing into New Jersey. This cell will be crossing into Delaware. So we do expect that the severe thunderstorm warnings could be extended into New Jersey and Delaware as it continues to push to the east. But the tornado warning is going to be canceled in 9 seconds. We're going to do a countdown. But again, we do have a very vicious line of storms moving to the east. So please stay weather aware. Keep us on. And we will be breaking into all the news coverage if we have any more tornado warnings. Yes. So let's send it back to you guys. All right, guys. Thank you for that extended coverage, letting us know what to expect. And it could be an interesting evening throughout the night. But again, we'll continue to check in with Cecily and Adam if things do
pop up out there.
Yeah, more action and news here at 5 when we come right back.
Okay, we are back because we have a new tornado warning that has just been issued for east central Montgomery County, southern Bucks County, and northeastern Philadelphia County until 6:30. A severe thunderstorm capable of producing a tornado was located over Brenathan, or 10 miles northeast of Philadelphia, moving east at 30. This is radar indicated. So some of the towns: Trenton, Bensalem, Ewing, Bristol, Hatboro, Yardley, Newtown, Tullytown, Langhorne, Brenathan. You're all in the possible path of this possible tornado that has been tagged by the National Weather Service. And you can see, Cecily, once again, it is in a very populated area.
And this is our third tornado warning of the night. So from just east of Horsham, Newtown, Grant, through Levittown, actually heading towards Trenton, very close to Trenton, including Bensalem. So huge area. And again, if you live in this area, get into your basement. If you don't have a basement, get into the lowest level of your home. I know I say this over and over again. An interior closet or a bathroom, you want to put as many layers between you and the outdoors as possible. You do not want to be on a second floor. You want to be in the basement or the lowest level and get into the bathroom, maybe even cover your head.
Yeah.
Because we've seen a lot of wind damage with this particular squall line moving to the east.
Yeah, not only when you're talking about the possibility of a tornado, we've had straight line winds of nearly 70 miles an hour, which is like a weak tornado moving through an area. And this is very broad rotation, but right now it is near I-95 as you lift into northeast Philadelphia County, lower parts of Bucks County. Mercer County is way up there near Trenton along Route 113, also the Pennsylvania Turnpike. So again, this would be the zone that we are watching here along the Pennsylvania Turnpike just to the north of Bensalem and Levittown.
And moving east pretty quickly at about 35 miles per hour. But again, that polygon is pretty broad because tornadoes don't always follow the same path. They can speed up, they can shift directions. So lower Southampton, Middletown, Fairless Hills, Levittown, Morrisville, and Weber Park all in the path of this possible tornado. And the National Weather Service has also said, be aware that we're seeing a lot of flash flooding with this cell as well. So not only are we seeing the potential for wind damage with that possible tornado or even the straight line winds, we're seeing the flash flooding, we've got the lightning, and we've got the hail as well. Mother Nature's just kind of unloading everything on us tonight.
Really, and it's during the evening rush hour, so there are a lot of people on area roadways. So if you find yourself going out, or if you know someone who had just left the house around here, please give them a call. Let them know that there is a tornado warning in this area if you know someone out on the roads. And also, if they ever encounter a road that's water covered, do not attempt to drive through. If you see the car in front of you attempting it, don't do it. Just turn around, find an alternate route, because we're dealing with quite a bit of water on the roadways. And
you can see the flash flood warning in effect until 10 o'clock. So a flash flood warning means that flooding is happening or it's imminent for a very wide location. The rainfall rates we've been seeing close to 3 inches per hour. Yeah, I mean, it's really, you can't even drive in that. The best thing to do is really pull over. If you're in the tornado warning and you are in your car, pull over and get into a sturdy building. You do not want to be in your car. But even if you're not under the tornado warning, we've been seeing the rainfall rates close to 3 inches per hour. And we've also been seeing a lot of wind damage. We have a report from Norristown, Montgomery County. A large tree is blocking the roadway at the corner of Hillcrest Avenue and Evergreen Road. So it's not a good evening commute. We're getting the wind damage. We're getting the flash flooding.
Trees down, wires down, poles down near Honeybrook we saw. And again, wherever you see the red, that is winds rushing away from the radar. Green is moving towards the radar. So this is very broad rotation, but notice right at the beginning, there was bright red and bright green right there. Paul, I don't know if you could pause this and go back a couple of frames.
Right in the beginning.
Right at the very beginning. That's probably when they prompted the tornado warning, right here. That is where I would have clearly said there could be something funny going on in the upper atmosphere.
Very close to Abington. And to kind of let our viewers in on the science behind this, that the brighter the color, the stronger the winds. So when you see the bright green, that's an indication of very fast moving winds towards the radar site. When you see the bright red, fast moving winds away. So when you have a bright green and a bright red right next to each other, that's what's called gate to gate shear. It's a very strong couplet, and it's an indication that there could be a tornado, and that's why they did prompt that tornado warning. So again, the third tornado warning of the night. all ahead of that squall line that's blowing through a region. We knew it was going to be an active night. Didn't know if we were going to see 3 tornado warnings.
3 tornado warnings. Trees and wires down in Perkiomen, Montgomery County, that just came in. So we've seen a lot of those trees and wires and poles down in parts of Berks County, Chester County, Montgomery County. Just got a severe thunderstorm warning with winds possible at 70 miles an hour, straight line winds for northwestern Kent County as well as parts of Newcastle County with that line in Delaware.
So now we're showing some of the storm reports that we've seen as that squall line continues to blow through. So we've had 20 reports just in that box, 3 flash flooding, 4 hail, some heavy rain, and most of it is thunderstorm wind damage. So when we've been seeing the winds reported close to 70 miles per hour. So the wind damage is a big concern. Power outages, we didn't have.
Route 1 as you head into northeast Philadelphia into Bucks County, Levittown, lower Southampton Township, Northampton Township. Warminster's right on the edge, the northwestern edge, because we saw that little couplet that tried to kind of form in lower parts of Bucks County, just outside of northeast Philadelphia with that image. And we're talking about the reflectivity here. So again, a very broad area. And again, Cecily, this is what you want to do.
Yeah, and we've been saying all night. So go into your basement, go into the lowest level of your home. If you don't have a basement, an interior hallway closet maybe, or a bathroom. No
windows.
Yeah, in the age of social media, I know a lot of people want to go to the windows and get videos. Just don't do that, because the debris, the flying debris, is really the most dangerous part of tornado. In our area, we get the smaller ones. We get the EF0s, EF1s, the 2s. Yeah. But it's strong enough that it can bring a tree onto your house, so that's why you want to get in the basement. And even the straight line winds are strong enough that we're seeing the potential for pretty widespread tree damage.
And if you're in a high rise, I got a lot of people say, I'm in a high rise, I'm in a big apartment complex, what do? You get to the lowest floor. Yeah. You get to the lowest floor. If you have an interior, stairwell where there's an elevator, that's also a great place to be if you happen to be in one of those type of buildings. But 54 lightning strikes in the last 15 minutes underneath this tornado warning, and the worst of it now just to the north of Bensalem. And if there were to be a tornado, as you noted, Cecily, with the last 2 you were talking this, it's rain wrapped. You're not going to see it.
It's hard to say.
You're not going to see it whatsoever.
So we have also, let's see, local storm reports. We're talking about hail. Berks County reporting hail an inch in diameter. So we've seen some really large hail, which typically we don't get a lot of large hail in our area.
I'm just trying to look at this.
So wider view.
And we're starting to see, again, one of these cells popping. Yeah, it's over this area, but it's these little discrete areas that form ahead of it. And then when the two merge, that's when you get that twisting of winds possible in the upper part of the atmosphere. Whether it makes it to the ground, that's something to look at later down the line if there's a lot of damage. But nonetheless, we're talking about a rush of wind, 60 to 70 miles an hour for Levittown at 610. That's the worst of it to come through here. Hamilton at 626. Once you get into Mercer County, Mercerville, around the bottom of the hour at 630.
Paul, do you want to go wider? We can show the whole line and the severe thunderstorm warnings also, because our whole area is going to be affected by this squall line. So we've had 228 lightning strikes of, actually at this view, more than 700. So the strongest part of the storm, the leading edge, it's pushing through Philadelphia right now. It's heading to the east at about 35 miles per hour. But this line extends down through Maryland. So if you live in Delaware, you're going to be getting hit really hard. I mean, look at this. Yeah. 1,000 lightning strikes over the past 15 minutes.
In this part, you can see, this is one of those situations where it's just a constant rumble and constant flashes, like you're just constantly hearing it. And again, you wouldn't even hear, like people say it sounds like a freight train, whether it's a tornado coming through or straight line winds. It's such a strong rush sound of wind that you may not even hear it because you're hearing so much thunder at the same time here. And here's some of the stuff people talk about.
Elton, Christiana, Newcastle, Pennsville, Smyrna, Piles Grove. Now this is not the tornado warning, but this is a vicious line of storms that's raking to the east. And when you have more than 1,000 lightning strikes over the past 15 minutes, this view alone, it is just like loaded with energy. And so that's why we want everyone to know that if you're driving in this, please pull over. The severe thunderstorm warning is now for parts of Kent County, like all of Newcastle County, Delaware, ahead of that squall line. Chestertown right now, they're hearing it, and it's just to the west of our viewing area. So we want to give you a heads up.
And we just got another report of a 53-mile-an-hour wind gust at northeast Philadelphia Airport. So 53-mile-an-hour gust there. And this is a nasty storm that is blossoming again again, these are moving over the same locations as well. And if in the control room director, I would be very curious to see what our Society Hill camera looks like, because our Society Hill camera is right about here, and it looks west towards this storm. So again, to give a vantage point of these storms coming into Center City at this time. And this area right here, that is one nasty cell of over 100 lightning strikes in 15 minutes in Delaware County, heading toward the airport and Center City.
So the director, if you want to pull up any Sky 6s at any point to show us.
All right, so
there we go.
You can just see, again, it's dark as night. Before the tornado warning came in, we were watching this, and you could see the rain on the right part of the screen, and on the left, you could see lightning bolts coming out of the sky as well. So the worst of the storm is now approaching South Philadelphia. Not the tornado warning storm, but the worst of that severe storm is in Delaware County, heading towards Center City right now.
And this is why the National Weather Service issued the severe thunderstorm watch for our whole area. I mean, look at this. It looks like Armageddon. So we're trying to look at the Center City skyline, but it's so dark it looks like the dead of night. And I think we're actually seeing some lightning. There we go.
Okay, and Westchester Pike is next to, on the camera here.
Oh, right next to, okay,
so yeah, this is the action cam live right now on Westchester Pike, moving eastbound on Westchester Pike, where you can again see a lot of cars on the roads, see a lot of red lights here, the drops on the lens. So a lot of folks on the road this time of day trying to get home from work, and you're dealing with blinding rain, you're dealing with trees down, wires down, tornado warnings, hail, I mean, just about everything.
And we do have an update, speaking of that, in Berks County right now. 1025 East Main Street roads are closed now due to flooding. This is in Union Township, Berks County. So I know a lot of people are having a very tough time trying to get home tonight because a lot of the roads are closed to flooding. And we've also had reports in Montgomery County that some roads are closed because trees are across the road. We've seen the lightning.
So good news here, the tornado warning for Montgomery is canceled. Southern Bucks and Northeast Philadelphia has been canceled, but we're still dealing with a severe thunderstorm. So Paul, why don't we just real quick before we throw it over to Brian, we'll show to confirm, yes, the tornado warning is gone, but we are still dealing with a slew of severe thunderstorm warnings. Again, the threat is considerable due to those winds up near 70 miles an hour. And 70-mile-an-hour straight-line winds can cause as much damage as a tornado. So please seek shelter if these storms are heading your way. We will have an update coming up in the next few minutes for the full AccuWeather forecast. Let's head back to Brian for the news of the day.
Oh, it's my turn.
You want me to keep going?
I thought we were done.
They want us to keep going. Never mind.
All right. Usually we end when the tornado warning is
Our apologies.
Over. All right.
So if, again, the directors in the control room, producer who's in our, talks to us in our earpieces here, just let us know if you want to go to an action camera or you want to go to a Sky 6 camera. We're more than happy to do that on the fly. And while we continue to do that, again, we're probably staying on because this cell is really nasty heading into Philadelphia County right now, the airport, which had a ground stop and more than likely still continues to have a ground stop for incoming and outgoing flights due to the severe storms across our area. 58 lightning strikes, now 109 lightning strikes in the last, just in this view alone.
So one thing that we're noticing that as it pushes to the east, it's not weakening at all, and it probably won't. Possibly when it gets to the shore points with the ocean influence, it could weaken when we lose the heating of the day. But right now, the rainfall rates close to 3 inches per hour. So I think
that is top end of what you typically see. I mean, this is almost like having a tropical storm come in with the amount of rainfall rates in there. I mean, we had dew points yesterday and today, 75, 77, 78 degrees, which is outrageous for our area.
And speaking of, part of that is because we did have the remnants of Chantal, which didn't cause a lot of storms last night. We just had the flash flooding in southern Chester County, but it did leave a lot of moisture in the atmosphere. So that's why we had dew points well up in the 70s. So flash flood warnings now, and this is because of the intense rain that's falling. So we're seeing a lot of flash flooding right now through Philadelphia, heading into New Jersey. So once you get past the leading edge with all the thunder and the lightning and the winds, then you get the flash flooding. So the flash flood warning in effect until 9 o'clock. So it really is going to be very difficult to be traveling in our area tonight.
And aside from this vantage point here, just for those folks that live in Berks County, Union Township, East Main Street is closed due to flooding on that roadway. In addition to that, we have in Chesterbrook, which is a very populated area, trees down in Chesterbrook. We're just finding out here. And again, yesterday we had a flash flood warning, if you remember.
We had 4 inches of rain.
In Oxford, 4 inches of rain yesterday. Today, an additional 3.5 inches of rain. So near Coatesville, Exton, Oxford, you've seen 7.5 inches of rain in 24 hours.
And the ground just can't absorb that.
No.
So we do have a new severe thunderstorm warning now for central Mercer County, north central Burlington County, and southeastern Bucks County until 7 o'clock. So the severe thunderstorm is located near Langhorne. It's moving northeast. Now, it slowed down a little bit at 15 miles per hour, but we do have that severe thunderstorm warning. The potential for 60-mile-an-hour wind gusts. So that's just now to the east of Bensalem, heading towards 295. Bordentown right now, you're getting some of it. So the potential for 60-mile-an-hour wind gusts, penny-size hail. Radar indicated damage to roofs, trees, power lines possible. We're talking about 60-mile-an-hour wind gusts. It can bring down a lot of trees, especially due to the fact that we've had just so much rain, so the ground is really saturated.
It really is. So we'll continue to monitor these storms as they're pushing through the heart of our viewing area. But in the meantime, we're going to head it over to Brian for some of the daily news.
Yeah, guys. Thank you so much. Obviously, an eventful night. We're going to check in with you numerous times in this newscast and throughout the evening, guys. Thanks so much. Let's get right to Action News reporter Jessica Cartalia. You saw her image driving through Delaware County in Mobile 6 right now. Jessica, not raining too hard where you are, but lots of traffic out there, and people really want to be aware of where they're going tonight.
Yeah, and of course, Brian, if you don't have to be in the car like we are, you need to be staying at home and staying safe. We were actually out at a pool club in Broomall when all of a sudden they cleared everybody out of the pool because we saw that lightning. We had to quickly get in the live truck and move the truck because there were so many trees near us, and we heard Cecily say that the storms were headed our way. So just to give you a little perspective, we are now on Westchester Pike. We just passed through Manoa, Havertown. Now we're making our way toward the city, Upper Darby. Is that correct? Yes. And we are seeing a ton of lightning here. Brian, as you mentioned, not raining as hard as it was when this first started coming down, but really a ton of lightning. People look like they are taking it slowly. Fortunately, you know, there are several lights here, so it's not as though people are racing down the streets because they are very wet. This came in very quickly and moved through very quickly. Fortunately, where we are, we've not seen any trees down just yet, but we're going to continue to monitor the situation. And if we see anything pop up, Brian, we will go ahead and get back in touch with you guys. But for now, stay safe, everyone.
Yeah, that's the best advice there tonight. That's to you as well and your crew out there in Mobile 6. Jessica, thank you so much. Of course, keep an eye on the AccuWeather forecast with the 6 ABC app all night tonight. In fact, keep it right by your bed so you can get the latest from radar and any updates from our team of meteorologists as soon as they are issued. Meteorologist Cecily Tynan live once again in the Weather Center. That's an incredible shot of Center City, Philadelphia right behind
we're trying to look at the Center City skyline. You can't see it because the rain is just coming down in sheets. We have reports of flooding on the Schuylkill Expressway at City Avenue. Also a tree down at Gulf Mills. Really tough to get around anywhere. And this rain is falling at the rate of about 3 inches an hour. So you really shouldn't be driving it. The best thing to do is really pull over. Storm Tracker 6 live double scan showing the squall line, that leading edge of the strongest storms, is now right over the I-95 corridor. It's pushing to the east at about 35 miles per hour, and it's been producing a lot of severe thunderstorms. And again, we've had those 3 tornado warnings. So a severe thunderstorm warning is now issued until 6:45. The main threat, the winds gusting possibly up to 70 miles per hour. So this continues into Burlington County, Mercer County, Camden County. And I do think as that line marches to the east, we'll see a lot more of the severe thunderstorm warnings popping up. 125 lightning strikes over the past 15 minutes. So Mount Laurel, Gloucester, Pemberton, Pine Hill, Browns Mills, Tabernacle, all in the path of the storm. And remember, if you hear that rumble of thunder, it's close enough that you can get hit by thunder. So the storm does not have to be right on top of you. So get indoors right away. That cell that we were tracking moving out of the eastern shore of Maryland, that's now heading towards Newcastle and Kent County, Delaware. Severe thunderstorm warnings in effect. Now notice this, the wind speed with that particular line up to 80 miles per hour. The threat destructive. So I do think that if you live in this area, I would treat it like a tornado warning. Get into your basement immediately. Tree damage is a good possibility, a very strong possibility. So Middletown, Smyrna, Cheswold, Dover, and Lebanon all on the path of that particular line of storms. We've had 748 lightning strikes over the past 15 minutes. Then we have the flooding. Rainfall rates are very impressive. We've had rainfall rates close to 3 inches per hour right now. So you can see that 2.73 inches per hour. The strongest rainfall rates are moving into Burlington County. But once the cell passes through, you have about an hour of heavy rain, and then everything will start to settle down. It's not going to be raining all night, but it's causing a lot of problems. So flash flood warnings in effect until late tonight, 9:45, all along from Chester County, parts of Delaware County, Philadelphia, into Burlington County, parts of Montgomery County, and I do think that these will be extended as the line continues moving to the east. So the exclusive AccuWeather 7-day forecast. Tomorrow this front will be kind of lingering, so it's going to be hot and humid, not quite as hot as today. Today we were in the mid-90s, 91 degrees, but the heat wave will continue with the possibility of some more thunderstorms. Thursday, downpours. Some more thunderstorms as that front kind of moves back and haunts us. 84 degrees. On Friday, limited sunshine, could get a spotty thunderstorm. I don't think it's going to be nearly as widespread on Thursday. Saturday and Sunday, isolated thunderstorm. So most of the day should be storm-free. It'll be very humid. We keep that chance of an isolated thunderstorm on Monday and Tuesday. Seasonally warm. Finally, we'll get a break from the storms with a high of 89 degrees, and we will have a full rundown of all the storm damage on Action News tonight at 11. It's going to be a busy night.
And you get a break. At least for now, tonight. Thank you, Cecily.
Ocean County, Northeast Burlington County, Southwest Monmouth County until 7:15. So this area, if you live in this area, you need to get in your safe place immediately. A severe thunderstorm possible of producing a tornado. So this is radar indicated, was located near Woodruff or 16 miles west of Toms River and moving east at 20 miles per hour. So the squall line is now heading through Burlington County, heading towards Ocean County, and this squall line has been responsible for producing numerous storms capable of causing a tornado. We also had one tornado warning where the funnel cloud was possibly detected. So again, seek shelter now if you live in this area. Get to your basement. If you don't have a basement, just get into the lowest level of your home, an interior closet or a bathroom. You want to avoid windows. You want to get as many layers between you and the outdoors as possible. Also a good idea to get under sturdy objects. We've had reports of wind gusts near 70 miles per hour with these particular storms, bringing down a lot of trees. So getting under a sturdy object, a good idea if a tree falls on your house. So Storm Tracker 6 live double scan showing that the leading edge of this. So if you look at the radar, you can see that there's a little bit of some notching. So that's an indication. That's what's called a hook echo, an indication that there's some rotation within that storm, and that you get the rotation, it causes a funnel cloud. If the funnel cloud hits the ground, it produces a tornado. So relative velocity is one tool that we can use also where it shows the wind. Now this is pretty far from the radar site, so I'm not sure if this is going to show that much gate to gate shear where we have the bright green right up against the bright red. But we do show that there are some really intense winds with this particular cell. When you have the bright colors, that's an indication that the winds are ferocious. We've had reports of wind gusts at 68 miles per hour with the leading edge. So it looks like just south of Plumstead, there could be possibly some rotation near Pemberton. Hard to see with this particular radar, but the wind damage has been a big concern because we've got a lot of reports of trees and power lines down. So near Plumstead is likely where we have the center of that rotation. Again, it's moving east at about 30 miles per hour. And if you live in that area, you do want to seek shelter immediately. Why don't we head back to the radar, Paul, and we can go ahead and perhaps track the storm. So 84 lightning strikes in the past 15 minutes. The red polygon is that tornado warning near Plumstead right now, moving east at 35 miles per hour. It looks like it is heading towards the Garden State Parkway, so heading towards the shore points, Collars Mills, Jackson, Bennett's Mills, Lakewood, Holiday City, and Brick, all in the path of the storm that is capable of producing a tornado. So what's going on? We have a squall line of thunderstorms that has been pushing to the east. It's been encountering all the heat and humidity, made it up into the mid-90s today. The heat index above 100. So that's kind of wedging under the warm, humid air. It's lifting it up, and it's been creating some spin. A lot of times what we've been seeing are particular cells, kind of the leading cells, and they're starting to join force, and there's different wind directions, and that's what can create that shear, create that spin. Another problem is the fact that we're getting so much rain. Rainfall rates close to 3 inches per hour with the cell continuing to push to the east. So near Plumstead, this is showing 2 3/4 inch an hour precipitation rates. And so that's been causing some pretty widespread flash flooding. We've had reports that a lot of roads are covered with water. I know the Schuylkill Expressway, they're down to 1 lane near City Avenue. And we've also had a lot of reports of tree damage as well. Right now, the most power outages are in Chester County. Chester County also had a lot of rain yesterday, about 4 inches. So the ground is kind of saturated, cannot absorb all of that rain. And then it also creates kind of hurts the roots. So the roots of trees can get blown over pretty quickly because they can't really hold into the ground. So here's that tornado warning again for a large section of Burlington County and parts of Ocean County. This cell near Plumstead, indication that there could be a little bit of rotation with it. It's moving to the east at about 35 miles per hour. As we widen out, this is the leading edge of a cold front that's pushing in. So the most severe part of the storm is the very front of it. That's where we have the most lightning strikes. That's where we have the strongest winds. And then once that moves on, then you also get the flash flooding as well. So then that cell that was producing the potentially 80-mile-an-hour winds across parts of Newcastle County, that's now a severe thunderstorm warning, and that's for parts of Salem County, heading towards Cumberland County. We've had almost 1,000 lightning strikes over the past 15 minutes with this particular cell as it continues to move to the east. So, I mean, it's loaded with energy. It's loaded with moisture. So we've been getting wind damage reports. We've been getting flooding. We've been getting hail and a lot of power outages reported. Again, most of those in Chester County. I'm going ahead and trying to get an update on the tornado warning, which I don't see right now. I do have reports of multiple large branches down in Monmouth, Upper Freehold Township, New Jersey. That's a train spotter. So we've seen the winds up to about 68 miles per hour. Are you seeing an update on the center of it? Not seeing it, but this is our 4th tornado warning of the night. So again, much of Burlington County. So we're zooming in on some of the communities. Burkesville, from Burkesville to just east of New Hanover through Pine Lake Park. It includes parts of the Garden State Parkway, Lakewood, Howell, and Adelphia. So if you live within this area, this is where you want to go ahead and seek shelter right away, get in your safe place. Unfortunately, we've had a lot of practice with tornado warnings lately.
This is number 4.
For tonight.
For today alone, and this is really along 195 and south of there, where you're seeing some of that notching just to the east of Plumstead, Ledger, and as well as Jackson in the central part of Ocean County here. The most severe rain, intense rain and thunder and lightning is on the northwestern side of where you could have some of that interjection of that strong southerly wind kind of wrapping in around that particular severe thunderstorm with 25 lightning strikes in the last 15 minutes.
So we do see that this radar signature, it's called a hook echo, where you can see a little bit of notching, and that's actually the winds that are kind of wrapping around, and that is a possible signature that we're seeing rotation. We don't know for sure if it's reaching the ground, but when you get the rotation in the upper atmosphere, if it continues, it can hit the ground and it can cause that tornado. So it's radar indicated that the severe thunderstorm capable of producing a tornado right now near Collars Mills, just south of Cassville, near Ledger, and to the southwest of Jackson right now, moving east at about 35 miles per hour.
And even if, there wasn't a tornado reaching the ground, we're talking about very dangerous straight line winds with this. We've seen multiple reports come in, trees, wires down Honeybrook, Pottstown. Just got an update from Pottstown, damage to house shutters, trees down all around Pottstown. Also, multiple roadways are underwater with flooding. So now that we're getting deeper into the evening, once the sun sets, you have to head out. Please be very cautious driving around anywhere in the Delaware Valley, because we have a lot of roads that have taken on quite a bit of water as well.
A lot of flooding and a lot of tree damage. And this is the relative velocity showing the wind. So when you see the bright green like that and it's moving pretty quickly, that shows that we have some really intense winds. We've had reports of wind gusts near 70 miles per hour.
Yeah,
unfortunately, I do think that there's going to be a pretty widespread power outages
around here. And again, we're dealing with the heat, the humidity. We have another day tomorrow where we're going to have temperatures above 90 degrees. We're going to have the intense humidity like today and more storms cooking up tomorrow afternoon. This is the hail within that particular. The hail's not that big of an issue, as you can see here. It's just one little area of just a little more than a ½ inch in diameter in the western corner there of Ocean County as you work away from, here's 206 in Burlington County. So not a lot of hail, but the hail core would be where you have the most intense lightning, thunder, as well as heavy rain. And then if there was a spin-up tornado, it would be where you have a void in any precipitation. So this would not be a rain-wrapped tornado if it was on the ground, because it's not within the center of the cell. This is more just ahead of it.
Yeah. But the fact that there's hail, it does show that there's a lot of intense updrafts with these storms. So, they're 30,
40,000 feet up, and even more than 40,000 feet.
They're very intense.
So if you think of a commercial airliner, when you fly, you're typically 33,000 feet up. These storms are even higher than that in the atmosphere, tapping into that cold air. So not only can you get hail, but that's also why we have such destructive straight line winds with these storms, is because these storms are towering so high. Here you go, in the atmosphere, there is almost
close to 40.
So high in the atmosphere that you're getting these intense rain shafts coming down with the heavy rainfall, and that's bringing the colder air aloft down, and that cold air just slams on the ground and then heads up.
Yeah, they're called microbursts, and unfortunately, I think a lot of the tree damage is the result of that. But again, if you're just joining us until 7:15, we have that tornado warning for northern Ocean County, northwest Burlington County, southwestern Monmouth County. So as of 6:41, a severe thunderstorm capable of producing a tornado was located over Woodruff, or 16 miles west of Toms River, moving east at 20 miles per hour. So if you live in Toms River, the tornado warning is just to the north right now, but it's pretty darn close. So if you live in Toms River, I mean, it's a big week. A lot of people are at the shore, are in New Jersey.
True.
I would go ahead and seek shelter right away, because
in those areas.
Yeah, because
if you know someone who's vacationing there, please give them a call. With thunderstorm wind gusts of 47 miles an hour just reported in Columbus, Burlington, New Jersey. So at the same cell, they had a wind gust there when this started forming of 47 miles an hour. And here's some of the towns and the times: Lakewood at 7:12, Brick at 7:21, Wall 7:27, Belmar at 7:32 p.m. And that was an update, but that's just a severe thunderstorm warning. Hey, Paul, if we can bounce out, Paul is our extraordinaire weather producer who goes on the fly with us. He's the best, who's behind the screen here working this. I just want to see what's going on across other parts of the area since we're on the air right now. This is a nasty, severe storm. As you were saying, Cecily, this kind of broke its way off of that main line coming in from Maryland. Severe storm in southern parts of Salem County right now, heading towards Gloucester County. This alone here has a tremendous amount of lightning strikes and fairly strong winds up to 60 miles an hour with that particular storm, and I'm hearing rumbles above our head here right now.
We also have a new severe thunderstorm warning now for parts of Kent County until 8 o'clock. Severe thunderstorm located in a line near from Hazelville to Ridley to St. Michael's, moving southeast at 35 miles per hour. That's one in Delaware. This is South Jersey, Upper Deerfield, Pittsgrove, Newfield, Vineland, Buena Vista, and Folsom, all in the path of the storm. Most of them have been moving to the east at about 35 miles per hour, which is fast enough that it also causes a little bit of extra momentum that can kind of enhance the winds as it moves to the east, but it's slow enough that we're also getting a lot of flash flooding.
And if you know some folks, I know that people can't watch us in the beaches in Delaware like Lewis or Bethany Beach. they don't get our station down that far, but there's a lot of folks vacationing this week after the 4th. So if you know folks who are down there, just give them a heads up if they're on the boardwalk right now in Rehoboth Beach to watch this storm coming in from the west, because that, if it holds together, it's going to rake through there with very strong winds. And I don't know, Paul, if we can show the velocity on this, if it's within the radar range, to see if there is a rush of wind heading that way. Yeah, you can see those bright colors.
Those winds are intense.
So please give them a call or a heads up if you have family or friends down in the beaches.
And hopefully, if you are at the beaches, once you see the skies get dark,
you get in.
Get inside.
But you never know.
Get off the beach right away.
If you're a teenager, you're out there no matter what. So I'm just saying.
Good luck controlling the teenagers. Trust me on that one.
So there's a severe thunderstorm warning with that particular cell that we're watching. But again, we still have a tornado warning in effect until 7:15 for, I would say it's out of, at this point, Burlington County. It's more centered in Ocean County at this hour until 7:15. It looks like it's trying to fill in a little bit maybe here.
Looks like there's still a little bit of notching
right
south of Jackson.
Yeah.
Moving towards Route 9.
There we go.
Storm velocity. I mean, I think it's not too close to our radar site, but we do see so much of the bright green.
Yeah.
And so we do see so much of the strong straight line winds and a little bit of possible gate-to-gate shear where we have the red and the green right next to each other, indication of some rotation. It looks like that's just to the south and west of Jackson. And again, moving east at about 35 miles per hour. The actual tornado warning is kind of broad because, and I know I've mentioned this before, tornadoes don't always follow a straight line. They don't always continue east at 35 miles an hour. They can pick up momentum. They can make a left-hand turn. They can make a right-hand turn. Typically, the types of tornadoes we get in our area, they're not the long track tornadoes. They don't stay on the ground that long. They kind of step down, they hit, and then they reach up again. But sometimes they can hit again. So this is why typically the tornado warnings are in effect for a while until you no longer see any of that rotation. You don't see the threat anymore.
So yeah, Lakewood, it looks like around 7:13 is moving to the east at about 30. Leisureville Village 7:16, and Lake Riviera at 7:19, Brick 7:22, and Point Pleasant 7:26 is when you could expect the worst of this storm to pass through, and intense rainfall rates as well. I mean, you have probably seen, if you were driving home from work this evening, it was a wall of water if you did encounter these downpours and storms that came through of nearly 3 inches per hour. Look at that, 2.73 inches an hour.
And I've seen some pictures on my social media account of some roads just covered. And the water up to the car doors.
Like, yeah, to the lower doors of the tires.
Driving through, which you shouldn't do, but it's hard when you're trying to drive home.
I agree.
And sometimes the flash flooding, I mean, it's called flash flooding because it happens so quickly. It happens quickly and there's no real place to go. So the flash flood warning in effect until 9:45 for most of Chester County, parts of Delaware County, Philadelphia, southern Montgomery County into Montgomery County. And I do think that we'll probably see these flash flood warnings extended to the east as that squall line continues marching eastward. So you get the leading edge, you get the thunder, the lightning, the winds, and then you get all the rain. And so typically you get the severe thunderstorm warnings first, and then the flash flood warnings follow. So a wider view showing the leading edge through Burlington County, Ocean County, where we have that tornado warning, and the back edge is now heading through Chester County and parts of Montgomery County. So in Philadelphia, it's still raining. It's not as heavy as it was, but it looks like we probably have another half hour, 45 minutes.
Of that moderate rainfall falling on very saturated grounds. And again, if you're just joining us here, you're watching WPVI Channel 6, and you're watching Action News, where we're having continuous coverage right now of a tornado warning in Burlington and Ocean County that are in effect until 7:15 p.m. So we're watching that one cell here, and it looks like it's blinking, so which means they have more than likely just updated it. Anytime you see blinking, it means it was just updated, and we're going to wait for, there it is, cancels. Wait, why is it still there? Well, it's a good thing.
Is canceled. All right, it's severe thunderstorm watch remains in effect until 9 o'clock. The tornadic thunderstorm that prompted the warning has moved out of the area. The tornado warning has now been canceled. We still have a lot of severe weather. We still have a lot of flooding, so please be careful.
And one thing before we go here, just got an update. Flooding on 611 southbound at exit I-95 South, the International Airport. The ramp is closed. Okay, the ramp is closed on I-95 south to the International Airport and 611 southbound at the sports complex.
So we will have a full update on Action
They still
News
have it up.
tonight.
For Ocean and Monmouth, but it's canceled in Burlington.
Oh, it's in
Okay,
Burlington.
so-
Oh, there we go. So it's
Thank
been
you, Paul.
canceled in Burlington County. I was wondering why we're
It's
still
still up.
seeing
I saw it flashing and I was like, it's still
in
there.
effect for Ocean County and parts of Monmouth County as well. So we
All right,
don't have the
it's
here
still
we
in
go.
effect, yes, till 7:15 for northern central Ocean and Monmouth County. At 6:58, storm producing a capability of a radar indicated tornado over Cassville, or 11 miles northwest of Toms River, moving east at 20. So again, Lakewood and Jackson, Cassville, Vista Center, Six Flags theme park is in the path of this.
West Freehold, Jackson Mills, Leisure Village.
So again, you're looking at this general area near Jackson where there could be some sort of twisty, funny business in the atmosphere just ahead of where you get the intense rain, lightning, and the possibility of some hail.
So to give you an update, they canceled the part in Burlington County because that particular cell capable of producing the tornado has moved out of Burlington County, but it's still in our viewing area. It's still producing a lot of lightning and perhaps some of that twistiness right south of Jackson, Lakewood, Ramtown, Allenwood, Wall, and Neptune, all in the path of this storm. That tornado warning is in effect until 7:15, and once the leading edge hits the coast, then we're just going to be dealing with the flash flooding. But right now, if you live in Jackson, you need to seek shelter right away because this is a dangerous storm.
Brick. I know we're starting to get on the edge of our viewing area at this point in time. It's right near Route 9, in the interchange of 37 and just south of 195. So it's kind of between 195, 37, Route 9. And notice you're seeing this little flare up right there ahead of it. So there's a new thunderstorm developing ahead of it. And that's what we've seen all afternoon and why we had a few different tornado warnings. It's because you get these little cells developing and then it merges with the existing cell and then you get the convergence of winds and it twists it. So nonetheless, if it's a tornado or not, you're dealing with very strong winds in addition to the heavy rain.
So this is our fourth tornado warning of the night, and we've had numerous severe thunderstorm warnings. We have a lot of flash flood warnings. This shows the relative velocity, and it does look like we have some indication there could be some rotation near Jackson. A lot of times when we do have a storm like this, the next day is when the National Weather Service sends out a survey team to see, in fact, if it was a tornado or if it was straight line winds. Either way, this type of storm can cause a lot of destruction. So right near Jackson right now is where we see some of that gate-to-gate shear, where we see the winds going in one direction and also another right next to each other. So that is an indication that there could be some rotation in the atmosphere and there could be a tornado, if not touching down right now, very close to touching down.
And if you're also just joining us and you're in South Jersey or Delaware, who's to say there could be another tornado warning because we've had so many today. What you want to do is get on the lowest level of your home. Just a reminder here, interior closet, interior room, bathroom, anything that doesn't have a window, apartment complex, a condominium, get into an interior, stairwell that has also the you don't want to get in an elevator, but if there is a stairwell near an elevator, that's a great place to be because it's interior. You've got all of the strong concrete
over you.
Exactly. So that's what you want to do if you're under a tornado warning, because a tornado warning means either there's a tornado reported on the ground or the radar is indicating the possible rotation on radar.
And obviously stay indoors, please.
Yeah, I mean,
don't go outside.
The days of social media, and I've got to get this video, and I got to get this picture.
The video can wait.
The video can wait. So we continue to watch this one storm. Again, nasty storm down near eastern shores of Maryland, heading to southern parts of Delaware, and also another one northern Cumberland, Salem County, and then that tornado warning in Ocean County. This storm could have winds of 60 miles an hour right now near Pittsgrove.
So we've been seeing kind of a solid line of storms moving to the east, but there are kind of these hot spots that are spawning the severe thunderstorm or the tornado warning. So we have that one across Salem and Cumberland County, and we have this other one now that's moving through Ocean County, parts of Mercer County. It had moved through Burlington County, and then we have another one that's pushing out of the eastern shore of Maryland. It seems like they just keep getting hit over
and the number of lightning
again.
strikes, almost 1,100 lightning strikes in 15 minutes.
I've been here almost 30 years. I've never seen that many lightning strikes.
15 minutes.
I mean, that's just crazy.
In just this one view. Although a lot of it's in Maryland, but it's heading into central southern Delaware, and some of it includes off to the north there. And what we're going to continue to get is what we're looking at on these iPads here is basically a thread. It's a feed coming in from the National Weather Service. They're amazing meteorologists in Burlington and Mount Holly, and they get reports, and they're the ones who issue the watches, the warnings. They update us for you, and we're continuing to get, you know, sort of public reports of flooding. They got a video in Chester Springs, Chester County in Pennsylvania of several trees, large trees snapped on video. So we continue to get these reports in, and this is going to be one of those where many people are without power tonight. It's hot, it's humid, it's tropical, it's dangerous if you don't have any airflow or no power, but also dealing with the flooding. So we've got a lot to go through tonight and then assessing tomorrow.
And you can see all these storm reports, and we do have a report that there's flooding on I-95 northbound at exit 4. That's 322 East, Commodore Barry Bridge, ramp restrictions. And I mean, look at this. We've had almost 50 storm reports now. Most of them flash, or actually most of them thunderstorm wind damage. Flash flooding is second.
It's also number 13 particular flash flooding reports, and a lot of those are either creeks out of their stream, small ones. We don't have any flood warnings for any particular stream or creek at this time, but you know, when you see flash flood warning that right here, it just means there's flooding in these counties somewhere, whether it's roads or whether it's low-lying areas, and to really use caution if you are heading out here this evening.
And it's a shame that it happened during the evening commute, because I know a lot of people
on the roads,
trouble getting home. So again, we still have that. Why don't we reset, because if you're just joining us now, I'm not sure what we're preempting.
We, at this point,
it's Jeopardy.
It's Jeopardy.
Oh, we're gonna, please, I'm sorry. Don't blame us.
We apologize, but it is.
Hopefully we're done before double Jeopardy. So that tornado warning is in effect until 7:15. So this is for parts of Ocean County, Monmouth County. If you live in this area, if you live near Jackson, seek shelter right away. Tornado warning in effect. A radar indicated that there's been some rotation in the atmosphere, and we have reports of wind gusts near 70 miles an hour. So there have been a lot of reports of trees down. So if you live Vista Center, Chestnut Estates, Howell, Millwood, Jackson, we've been mentioning that a lot, Ledger, please seek shelter right away. Get in the lowest level of your home, your basement. That's a good idea. If you don't have a basement, just the lowest level, maybe your interior closet, a bathroom. This shows that we've had 74 lightning strikes. It does show a little bit of notching right now.
It does, but notice, hey Paul, let's widen this, go down a little south of this. A little south, because what we're seeing is where there was that notching here. Notice how it's filled in as those storms kind of merged. There was that little fill, and then it filled in. There's a little notch there, but what we were watching earlier, the two storms have merged at this point over Jackson. So not to say that there still could be some sort of, you know, gate-to-gate shear somewhere within the interior part of the storm. Now we're not seeing that intense kind of notch in the southern part and southeastern part of the actual severe cell. But
some of the severe thunderstorm warnings that we've been getting do come with a tag of winds 70 to, we have one even 80 miles an hour. Yeah. So even if you just are in the severe thunderstorm warning, you do want to seek shelter, because it can bring down trees onto your house. There can be debris flying around. So really do want to take this seriously. This particular cell that's moving out at eastern shore of Maryland right now. Kenton County, Delaware is getting hit really hard. Dover right now, you're probably hearing the rumbles of thunder. Looks like the center of that is a little bit farther to the south right now, but all of this moving east. It's moving out of southeastern Pennsylvania. We're just getting the rain now, but South Jersey right now getting hit really hard. Route 40 right now near Glassboro, just south of the Atlantic City Expressway. We've got lots of heavy rain right now and some pretty intense lightning as well.
And Paul's going to put a track on this as the severe storm is moving towards Atlantic County, southern parts of Gloucester County. Millville, 7:15. You can expect the worst of this. You're hearing the rumbles in Millville, and you probably see the dark clouds just to the north and west. Weymouth at 7:35. Mullica Hill at 7:44. Galloway Township near 8 o'clock. And then Egg Harbor Township, if it was to hold together, it would be 5 minutes after the hour as well. So we'll continue to watch the storm as it pushes to the east, with winds possible in this particular storm of upwards of 60 miles an hour. We're going to put another track.
I'm wondering if maybe, do we want to pull up a Sky 6 if we can see anything? I've been looking at some of the Sky 6s at the shore. We don't have anything that far north.
We don't have anything
because it was
Long Beach Island. We do have a Sky 6 camera, but I mean that's pretty far south
because
of where these storms are.
In Philadelphia, we had the blinding rain. You couldn't see anything, and our Sky 6s like an ocean city. Beautiful.
It was beautiful. It was sunny. It was great.
People were on the beaches enjoying their day.
So I mean, if you look at where the tornado warning ended, Paul, go right there. So you can see it's like right here. I mean, that storm is basically there. So I mean, again, we should be seeing either this expire very soon, or if they do hold it together and push it to the east, that's something to consider. And what they're looking at, the National Weather Service, they're the ones who issue these warnings. But I don't want to say I like the look at this. I mean, I like how
it looks like it's weakening.
It's weakening, which, you know, I mean, there's still a lot of dangerous lightning, heavy rain, and some gusty winds. But, you know, when we're looking at any sort of notching with this, I'm seeing it more become one cell versus two kind of merging with one another. So hopefully that will continue.
But even when we have tornado warnings and we look at stuff and we like relative velocity, we don't see it. We still take every single tornado warning very seriously.
So the light at the end of the tunnel.
Look at that, we're seeing it literally.
Is the western suburbs where you're starting to see some breaks of sunshine there as we're seeing the back edge of the storms approaching Philadelphia this hour. But one thing to note is flooding, the flash flooding is till 9:45. So even though the rain will be stopping, floodwaters can still rise after the storm has passed. So that's something you're going to watch for this evening if you're traveling around and find an alternate route. If you do have to head out, and something to note also, tomorrow we're going to be on guard for hopefully not as severe as this, but there could be some more storms developing tomorrow afternoon with the heat and the humidity. And we just got a slew of reports. I mean, it's
a lot of highways flooded.
All right. It's going to expire. All right, so tornado warning is going to expire at 7:15 for Ocean County, which is in about 2.5 minutes.
So what that means is that they really no longer see a large tornado threat, which is good because it looks like it has kind of collapsed on itself. There's still a lot of lightning. There's still gusty winds, still the potential for flooding. But right now, it looks like that tornado threat has diminished greatly.
Yeah. And then we just got another report, West Norton and Montgomery County, wires down on Egypt Road and School Lane. So if you live in that area, West Norton, near Egypt Road and School Lane, do not use that route as there are trees down on those two particular roads in that intersection.
So the storm reports keep popping up, and we're going to have a lot to report on Action News tonight at 11 and PHL 17 at 10 o'clock. So that's where you were saying the wind damage in New Egypt, wires down. We did have reports of a tree down. I think it was the Gladwin exit of the Schuylkill Expressway and some
Gulf Mills.
That's
the Gulf Mills exit. There was a tree down. Part of the Schuylkill Expressway between City Ave, where we are here, was shut down. Not shut down, but there was like one lane restriction because of flooding on the Schuylkill Expressway. So we're seeing again not only a lot of flooding reports, but a lot of wind damage reports that have been coming in as well. All right.
It's been a crazy night.
It has.
Well, they're allowing that to expire, so I think we can head you back to Jeopardy. And
we apologize.
I'm sorry.
This is our job, and we have to do this because we've had multiple tornado warnings today, and we want to make sure that everyone's safe. And I know if it's not in your backyard, we want to be considerate about others and our friends in other counties.
So please stay safe, and we will have a full report on Action News tonight. We now return you to your regularly scheduled programming. Thank you.